Okay, we're ready to go. Welcome, everyone. This is November 19th, the Working Group Device Management Update meeting. Remember, this meeting falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, and that basically means be excellent to each other. We don't have an agenda today. I actually didn't create an entry for today, so if you feel that you have something, just speak up. Or if you want to introduce yourself, that's also a good opportunity now. And then, I don't know, Pang and I can recap KubeCon, or we can just jump right into what you have in mind for Kubernetes 1.36, which will be our next planning and implementation cycle. Okay, so any topics from anyone? Anything that you want to add? Okay, no, apparently. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Patrick. So I contributed to one of the issues of handling extended resources for DRA. So there's no specific topic as such that I want to discuss, but I assigned myself the support of rollback and upgrade for this one as part of 136. So is it just adding tests to support this feature should be fair enough, or do
Yeah, I think
we?
that would be best.
Okay.
I may have pointed it out in one of my comments. We do have tests. Oh, test E2E DRA, something like that. So there is automated upgrade downgrade testing already for a cluster with some DRA related tests running before and after an upgrade. And that mechanism can be extended to also cover extended resources. And we have CI jobs that do that work automatically, so we know that it works. We don't miss any breakage because we don't do the manual upgrade downgrade test that typically is being asked for.
Okay.
Yeah, if you start looking at that, you may find that it's currently a bit of a spaghetti code. There's one test case that basically has many different steps. It starts with, well, bringing up the current version of Kubernetes, creating pods, then doing a transformation where it downgrades some parts of a cluster, runs some more checks, creates new pods, updates again, verifies that everything still works, and it's all just one long test. I couldn't think of a good way to make it more modular yet, because the upgrade and downgrade steps are expensive. That takes time. And where it perhaps could be more modular is with a or with a different steps that are taken between updates or between version changes. But I haven't really looked into how that could work. It's a bit of exploratory work to make just the Go test, the Go code more modular. That probably would be a good first step before adding more inline code for extended resources.
Yeah, okay, sure. I'll explore on it.
Yeah.
And I have one more topic to just discuss. I'm not sure if it's relevant. So when we try to GA this feature or make it beta, I think at some point we say that, the existing device plugin usage, like we support the same syntax, right? So uh, how do we say to the customers or the users that we support seamless upgrade from device plugin to DRA? Is it even supported? Because like we need to uninstall the device plugin and then install the drivers, etc., etc. So, like, how do we
yeah,
see?
yeah. On a node, I think you need to train the node. I
Okay,
don't see
okay,
how it can be done seamlessly, where you have a pod that has been scheduled, assuming that the node has device plugin, and then you change from device plugin to a DRA driver on that node, and the same pod can keep running perhaps after a reboot of a node. I don't see that this can work.
okay.
So
There
you
has
would
to be a
have
drive.
yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah. And you're right, that is a valid consideration. I don't know how much we have written about this feature in the Kubernetes website yet, but it probably needs to be documented there at some point. Not now, we're still alpha right now, but this, yeah, the sooner we write about it, the better. One of our docs lead basically at some point pointed out that for beta we want GA quality documentation. So by 136 we should document everything that we should consider relevant for this feature.
okay.
Okay, and you join. Chandra, do you want to say something? You're not on mute.
No, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just wondering whether you want to chime in and comment on something. Okay. Yeah, as I indicated, we did finish quite a bit of things for 135. We did not promote the extended resources to beta in 135, which was the original plan, because just too many things changed, including one small API validation change that would have broken, say, mixing 134 and 135, 134 kubelet and 135 control plane, which is often something that people try to do, keeping kubelet at an older version and updating just the rest. It would have been a cross alpha beta boundary, but conceivably it could have worked. But we basically said that this is too many changes. Let's try that out in practice, what we just modified in 135 for one cycle and then promote to beta. The same goes for other features, consumable capacity, binding conditions. They are all still alpha, but could be candidates for beta graduation in the next cycle. For consumable capacity, I don't have any concerns. I think it's complete. With binding conditions, I'm less sure. We are still debating use cases, and some of the things that the original authors are doing with it are a bit odd. The binding conditions are meant to block binding a pod for a certain time, and then it proceeds to the binding phase, but they are typically always failing it and bring up some other device instead and do another scheduling cycle. So there's still some ongoing discussion on that particular feature. But there are other use cases for it where it would be useful in the current form. So we just need to figure out whether it works for those and then promote on that basis. I think that's it for, well, and of course by my own device taint rules, that got a major revision. If people have used it in the past, I'm very happy to get more feedback on the updated implementation in 135, because it now has a completely different user interface with device taint rule status, a try run mode, and additional support for just publishing a taint that doesn't have any effect. And this is something where I would like to see feedback from potential users so that we can move to beta perhaps in the next cycle in 136. I think we created more CAP ideas, CAP issues that currently don't have an owner, but we haven't really started the discussion about who is doing what and what of those are important. That will probably happen next week in the larger meeting with more participants. If you go to our dashboard, which I actually don't have in the meeting doc linked, I probably should just add it. Let me just go to another browser and copy the URL and bring up the dashboard. So if we look repository Kubernetes enhancements, yeah, we have a long backlog of things that could be worked on. Well, structured parameters, that's the core DRA. I'm still revising jobs a little bit for that. Some of them are just are not release informing yet, and they should be, or pre-submits should be blocking even, because we don't want to break a GA feature. But I'm still debating within with SIG testing what the rules for pre-submits in Kubernetes really are, which features are eligible in which jobs, and that's dragging on. So I've been blocked a bit on that. Then, yeah, I think the ready column has those that are in flight, that are being worked on. And, well, actually, no. Variables in cell, well, this is it's somewhere in between. It is something that had an owner for a while, then they didn't actually do anything. I think we can just put it on the backlog again. And we need to discuss which of those enhancements are worth doing and what the importance is. If you have thoughts on any of those, feel free to, I don't know, comment in the issue if you have a use case for it, so that we can consider prioritizing those things. Yeah. Well, I promised an update on KubeCon. Well, this is fairly subjective, but it was, as always, good to be on site and meet with people. DRA itself was fairly prominent, I would say, at the conference, at least perhaps from my perspective. At least I saw it quite often, but I was, of course, also looking. Stefan and Pang can correct me. I think they were also on site. And Lionel, of course. Lionel did a keynote with Antonio on DRANet. So yeah, fairly good presence overall. And people seem to be happy with it so far. Yeah. Pang, Stefan, Lionel, anything that you want to add on that?
Yeah, as you already mentioned, I think there's a lot of talks about the DRA in many contexts. And also I wondered like the meetup that we not the meetup, the submit that we have in the Google office about the scheduling and scaling stuff is also interesting as well. Just wonder, is there any recording or like the transcript or like
Not from the scheduling summit. So for those who didn't know, that is something that was organized by SIG Scheduling and John Bellameric at the Google office, a get-together of interested developers. And the topic was not specifically DRA, but more general scheduling of workloads. So how we transform the Kubernetes scheduler, the in-tree scheduler, from pod by pod scheduling to workload aware scheduling, where it knows that, for example, a certain group of pods must all be scheduled together or the workload can't run. Things like that fall into that camp, but also then beyond the scheduler, how do we handle disruptions when we need to evict pods? Can we make the eviction aware that it needs to evict entire workloads and not just one pod? So it goes beyond just the pure scheduler. It's an overall Kubernetes effort. And we just had some presentations from Eric Dune, for example, which I think is also in the conference program. He did another talk as part of the main track. So you can catch up on that by looking for his talk.
There is a transcript, actually. I have to find this link again. So there's something to catch up.
No, not from the free form, the discussion that we had at Google Office. That is, I don't think anyone took notes and it's not recorded. What I meant is that at least the part that Eric Dunes covered with his summary of what Kubernetes schedulers, and not just vScheduler, but in the wider ecosystem like Q, Volcano, how they handle workloads. He did a comparison, and I think that is in his talk that he did later the week again at KubeCon, and that part is recorded.
Thank you.
And then for the scheduling work itself, there should be one KEP, but I don't have it at hand, about pod group. I would need to search. And the goal definitely is to take all the ideas for brainstorming that happened and turn it into KEPs. So next step definitely is more specific proposals and public discussion in those KEPs. This Google Workshop was a one-time thing. It's not how we normally would do things, but it was convenient and allowed for higher bandwidth discussions and basically level setting to some extent. Nothing was really decided, so don't worry if you hadn't had a chance to attend completely or not at all.
Yeah, I just wonder, is that any relationship to one KEP? I'm not sure if it's already KEP or not in the DRA about the workload.
No, not really. DRA is firmly in the pod by pod camp right now.
Okay.
Because it is a scheduler plugin. It only works pod by the scheduler plugin only sees one pod at a time. We have a few things that help with cross pod allocation, perhaps with I don't know, binding conditions was at some point considered, but it's not ideal.
Okay.
But definitely the scheduler will have to consider DRA. It will have to figure out relationship between different resource claims for different pods and make sure that all of those can be allocated when scheduling a workload.
Mm. Okay. No, thank you.
And scheduling optimally, of course, then becomes an even bigger problem, because it may have to know something about DRA devices that is not exposed yet. So there may be changes to DRA because of this. Okay. Yeah, that's really all that I had, I think. If there are no other topics for discussions, no further questions, we could make it a short meeting again. Well, doesn't sound like we have anything. Thanks for your interest, and we'll continue in the next meetings and online, of course. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes, bye.
Thanks.